What is up, everybody? It's the Queens on the Map podcast, and today with me we have.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, HEMAN. Call myself the healer. Originally from Nepal and raised in Queens, and part of the cannabis tribe, and that's why we're here.
It was a great day meeting you, bro. The day we met, I hit you up on IG, and it was the day of Shivarati, and it was a great time. You told me to come down to the temple, bro. It was sick. First time going into a temple. Guy gave us the whole tour and everything. It was amazing, bro. Like everything went great. You was the first person to ever show me bhang, and I never had bhang before, bro. So like when I had like a cup of bhang, bro, it had me so out of it, bro. I had to go to the gym and work out for like 2 hours. I met you afterwards too. Later on that day, I came back for more bhang and shit. That shit was crazy. So. What's with the bhang? Is it lassi or is it like something else?
So it's made out of milk. It's not lassi. Lassi is a different form of it, but bhang basically it's a milk product. You know what I'm saying? Infused cannabis product, which is traditionally used in different culture events like Shivratri and Holi and stuff. And it has so many historic medical values. Why it was used back in the days, and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's what's up, bro. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like where was you born, and a little bit about that, and then we'll go on to the movement and everything.
Yeah, basically, I was born in Nepal, in Kathmandu. I came to Queens back when I was 18. It's been a while, and that's where I went to school and everything down there. Out here, I was into sales and stuff for 10 years in clean energy and stuff like that. But back in 2015, 14, 15, I started into the cannabis industry, and here I am today.
Okay, so tell us about the LEGALIZE Nepal movement and what got you started and like everything about it.
I was into the cannabis for a while. It had been like 5-7 years. I was in the game, out in the streets and, hustling, bustling, so many things. And then, suddenly how the world, it was like, the cannabis movement was, legalization movement was growing. And since Nepal, where we have a lot of history on cannabis, on our culture side and agriculture aspect, so many things. So I felt a need that since I was here in a global platform, I had to represent my nation since, we're the Amsterdam before Amsterdam. That's how the culture started. The cannabis culture, if you date back, it originates from there. So I want to make sure that the world doesn't forget about us when they talk about cannabis.
So when was cannabis ever illegal in Nepal? When did it become illegal?
Yeah, so basically in 73, that's the war on drugs, which was started by America in Nixon. And, that's what affected the whole world, and Nepal was part of it. Actually, we were the last country to actually decriminalize it and sign in the UN to decriminalize cannabis,
To criminalize cannabis.
Criminalize.
It was the last country to ever criminalize
Criminalize,
it.
yeah.
Okay. And was there a big tourist thing going on in Nepal with the cannabis?
Because Nepal is like, it's like 80% of people are agriculture. It's an agriculture country, you know what I'm saying? And the main thing of Nepal is the tourism aspect,
Yeah.
So definitely, there were a lot of positive impacts of cannabis, not just as a drug aspect of the high, how people see it as a stigma, So yeah, that made a lot of difference to the country, to the economy, so many things and so many things forwarded after that. After that event, just the criminalization of cannabis leads to so many things, all over the world, not just in Nepal, the war on drugs,
So how is it with cannabis right now in Nepal?
So it's still illegal, you know what I'm saying? It's not even medical. There's no medical use of it as well. It's just a religious purpose once a year that, you know what I'm saying? It's people could smoke like, let's say freely as a,
They could have for themselves.
gift. Yeah. But even in a small consumption, it's not a big deal. If you're just smoking, it's not really a big deal. But of course, if you're distributing it, delivering it, and like growing it a lot, then that's when, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are in jail as well, like almost 10,000 people.
What's the sentences they're mostly looking at?
It's like around 90 days. The first, second, if you're like a small amount, if you're like
Possession?
possession and like distribution and stuff. And yeah, if anything, they could even just put you for 90 days. It doesn't matter because the substance is illegal. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
And
It depends on your attitude
and
and his
growing it?
attitude. What's that?
And growing it, what about that? What's
Yeah,
it?
so there's different levels amount how much amount you're growing, if you're growing for medical purpose or just for because there's a lot of farmers, so they need the plant to for their animals to feed them for different medical aspects. So it depends where, how, what, when, and again, since the substance is illegal anyway, they have the right to come like just destroy the crop or do whatever they want because they have the power because
Yeah.
the plant is like not free.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. So you said you came here when you were 18?
Yeah, 18.
So did you start smoking over there or here?
You're there, back there. Yeah.
So what was your story like smoking first time?
The smoking was like, it just was a cultural thing. Yeah, we could see it everywhere. People, friends, neighbors smoking it, since we were small. And it was a religious thing. So, we first started off drinking of bhang when we were little kids, a little by a sip here. But then when I was like grade 6, 7, when I was growing up, then into my teens, yeah, it became like a, like a habit, a little bit. So, and that's how we started in the hostel.
So was it with flour or was it with like hash?
Hash, usually hash, because in Nepal, since it's all sun grown outdoor and like it's not the most potent, so usually it's made into hash or like pollen or keef, and that's what's most popular. You know what I'm saying? The charas part.
So they all call it charas?
Yeah, hash, charas, or keef,
And
what form they have.
And they're doing it every way of extraction over there too, like the hands, the bags.
Yeah. Mostly the drumming, you know what I'm saying,
Oh,
and
the
then
sticks.
mostly the hand rubs. That's the original way, and then there's new ways now to but the bubble ways they've been learning it now with the YouTube and so many stuff. They're learning new things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how making it easier ways to
Make it
into a better product as the end product.
Well, I think it's going in the right direction. Like Thailand just legalized it over there. I think Italy was the first European state to again legalize. I might be wrong on that one, but it's heading in that direction. You think everybody is gonna follow suit with it, or people have to like really like want this?
Yeah, they're gonna follow, and I'm
Yeah.
sure if people really want it too, if they know what the benefits the plant has, it's not just a medical but economical and to ecological aspect for the humanity. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure the humanity wants it very bad.
So was there any reason besides like just the pressure of everybody banning drugs that they banned it over there, or was there other reasons why they banned it?
No, it was the
Just
America and the pressure on war on drugs too. That was the main reason in Nepal and most places like third world countries. Because this is where it started, and now, as you can see, half the country is legal, and they want to federally legalize it as well fully. But small countries, they're suffering. You know what I'm saying?
So
Still.
was it true that cannabis started around Nepal, like the start of it?
Basically, the land race, if you trace it all the way back, you know what I'm saying? Not Nepal, in being particular, but the Himalayan range. You know what I'm saying? It could be Nepal, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Belarus. It goes in the Himalayan range,
Yeah.
but that's where the land race was from. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
where the world it got it through.
So what was the little history of cannabis in Nepal? Like, what was the history of it? What was it? What did it used to be like?
Before the criminalization, 73, there were like even licensed cannabis government smoke shops. You know what I'm saying? That was the other reason why there was tourists was a lot of attraction in Nepal. And yeah, they would use it for so many other purposes. You know what I'm saying? As I said, since it was an agricultural country, so even the farmers need it, the animals need it. You know what I'm saying? And we have so many different ways of Ayurvedic medicines that cannabis extracted. So the whole thing was there, and as I said, even we have government licensed smoke shops and smoke cafes back before, when the world didn't even know about it. Before the world know about Amsterdam, we already had cafes before it existed in Amsterdam. So that's the history basically.
That's crazy, man. Over there, like it's just so it's just so wild where like it's part of the culture, right? Like it's part of the religion over there too.
Mm-hmm.
So how come there's the other elderly people, they're against it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why and how did that even
It's
happen? It's
the
part
it's
of the
the
religion.
it's the stigma that was created through the social media and so many things after the war on drugs all over the world. So the past 4 or 5 generations of people have been like, like influenced that, oh, this is a drug, even though they haven't tried it, they don't know the medical values. It's a lack of awareness and the right kind of education they didn't receive for the past 40, 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So now those are the people who thinks that it's a drug. If you ask somebody like probably 50, 60 years ago, they didn't have this about the plant. But this
Yeah.
is been created, which is now, going down as the plant is being, legalized all over the place. People know now what the medical values and so many other values it's had. So we're
Yeah.
hopeful.
That's good. That's good, man. And let me see what else I got. So what was the thing you was telling me about the hash museum?
Oh, yeah. So basically, that's like a vision, that I
Yeah.
have.
What's your vision?
To have a hash museum in out here in New York, which I could represent my culture and the plant and in so many ways. So that's a future plan.
Is hash better when it's cured or when it's fresh?
Oh, when it's cured, that's when you get the real flavors of it. So you want to have it cured so that it's ready to smoke. That's when you get the real flavors.
What's the good enough time you should let it like cure for?
Again, depending on what process you make the hash. So it depends on the process and the weather and the end product you want. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it depends.
So, what is your view on the market of New York going right now? Like, how do you think it's looking, and what do you think is the future of the market?
Yeah, the market future is really good. Like, the population we have, we're the capital of the world. So, of course, we're going to take it over as the cannabis capital as well. The whole world is eyes is on New York and the whole America. So, we're really hopeful that, the regulations and the opportunities that the cannabis brings to the New York State and us is, different, and we can set an example for the rest of the people. And let's see. That's what we're hopeful for.
It's one of the most populated places and the most consumption of cannabis in the world. It's definitely everybody wants to come down here. Everybody wants to break into the market, and lounges are really doing their thing. Everybody that's as you were saying like before, like people that are out right now, once legalization fully comes into play, a lot of people are gonna go out of business. A lot of people would have to like change their game up, and then the taxes are gonna come into play with it. It's just gonna be a super crazy market on it. And so we have also this right here, right? What do we have? We have the House of Piff, right?
the House
Tell
of
us
Piff.
about that.
Yeah, it's basically a cannabis lounge in upstate Utica, New York.
Nice.
And they carry different, brand products, and they're a smoking lounge, and we're one of them where our hash is there.
Smoking lounges, man, are really good for the community and everything, the culture, because it's really hard for everybody to come together at every place, and not like be like somebody's like just at like all vending events too, just like a chill smoke lounge, and then everybody else is there with their stuff, and it's just everybody can do everything they want to.
Yeah, like more like educational and chill and get to know, grow, and enjoy the plant as well in different forms.
Many what's your favorite consumption of flower, or like just hash, flower, edibles? What's your favorite thing?
The number one preference is hash, and then flour. And I'm not really so much into like the dabs and wax and stuff, because I still wanna keep it a little low so I could consume it for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't want to get my body adapted to too much THC and the chronic level so that my potency keeps on rising. You know what I'm saying? So I stay a little low and high in different ways.
What's your way of consuming hash?
I'll just usually smoke it, roll it with weed, You know,
Okay.
sometimes I roll it with the tobacco, but straight up roll it with the weed. And
Do you ever mix it, or do you put the snake in
no,
there?
I usually mix it rather than the snake. I prefer mixing it and just like
Why is that?
smashing it so that it gets evenly everywhere, and like it's a different, like you get a better aroma as well when so
When you mix it in your hand, it got the smell in it.
like how they rub the tobacco, back home
Back home.
with the
Cigarettes and stuff.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was everybody back home. They would always have like a dark dent in their hand that would smoke, and you could always tell. Or they'll always just be sitting with their thumb in their hand and always mixing it around and everything. So what are your plans for the future looking like? Like for the movement and everything? How you guys
for
going?
the movement, basically, more awareness is needed. I'm saying the government and
How
has
can
to,
people help with that?
So people have to, not be about the stigma and be more about the medical values and the ecological values that the plant could bring to the country and to the humanity, rather than, and just following the footstep, basically what America has been doing, if they follow everything they do.
I think a lot of third worlds can benefit from legalizing it because they already have the stuff there. This history is there. It's been for thousands of years, and like, why they already they've stopped it for less than what it's been around for. Like
Of course.
it's been allowed for longer than they made it illegal. And the craziest thing about it is that I'm just surprised on how did they learn to make hash, because they didn't smoke it really back then. Everybody made it into hash or maybe an edible. So I'm just super surprised on how, like, what's your theory on like how did they get it?
Basically, when the plant, it was outgrown and they couldn't preserve it for a long time if it was just a plant. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's not just hash. In Nepal and in third world countries where the history is more with the cannabis, we have different forms of like preserving the plant for the whole year, like smashing it into a bamboo and then wrapping it with like haystack, and like there's so many other ways. Like I'll show you some pictures from Nepal.
Bamboo?
Oh yeah, that's what they do, because like what I'm saying, good flour and stuff, it travels from east to west and so many things, and that's why they have the hash, because the flour you couldn't like preserve it for like a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? But if you can make it into a hash, now it's a more concentrated, it's more potent, and then you could travel with it and then smoke it a higher quality. You know what I'm saying? That's why hash is more popular. But there's other ways of,
But who gave the idea of like taking the extraction? Like, it's already weird that we like even just like, how people like make a thing like, yo, how did we get milk? Like, who thought about getting milk from the cow? But like, who thought about sifting? Who thought about drying or like rubbing it? Because like, it's gonna make you itchy. Like, it's the poison of the plant. Like, it's protection for it. So how did like, and you can't even make chars all the time, right? Like, it has to be a hot day or something, right?
It depends which part of the
Like the hand
grow
rub
of the plant it is. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. But yeah.
Because when I see them do the hand rub, I can't tell like if it's actual nugs in there or they're catching it in the middle or something.
No. It doesn't have to be just nugs. Once the THC start developing, you could start rubbing it and you're gonna get it in your hand and you keep on collecting it. That's the whole way. You know what I'm saying? And
then they used to always have techniques of drying it and tying the bunch of stems together. Do you know the logic behind that one?
Oh, that's for preserving. You know what I'm saying? For
tying it up together,
tying them together and you know what I'm saying? Putting it into the bamboo or like stacking it into the to make it flavors like mango, orange leaves and stuff like that, and tying it with haze and then hiding it somewhere for a while and stuff like that.
I heard about burying it in the floor.
Yep, burying it in the floor, you know what I'm saying? And so many ways.
So you think it's true if you take good hash, you can wrap it like take bad hash and put good hash in it, and then the whole thing after curing is gonna become good hash.
Yeah, it's going to be, the bad hash is going to be a little better because now it's, you know what I'm saying, mixed up with the good hash. You know what I'm saying? Once you mix it up well, it's going to take a different, better form. It's like a clay.
Yeah.
Once you rub like two colors, it's going to smash it and come a different light color. So, yeah, of course.
The history of hash is
with the same thing, like two of these, if you just rub these and mix it up, now that's going to take a form into this. So, it's going to be a little better,
So, you've played with different micron sizes, right? So when I play with like super low micron, like what is it? What's the lowest I get? Like 25, I think it is, right? And like once I play with it, I feel like once you like dry it up and press it and everything, I feel like it gets too sticky and it's just not portable enough. Is that because like it's missing something, or is that
No,
how
it's
it's
just the micron is too. The collection out there is more, you know what I'm saying, potent than what's collected up there in the earlier microns. So it's going to be more sticky, you know what I'm saying? And you can't make it all this form. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's more like rosin and stuff. You know?
Is there a quality difference between hash that's like the nicer one over there and like the one that's like halwa? You know, and the one that's like super, like you can't even like press it. It's like melting away. So which one is better quality? Is there? Tell me a little bit about that.
It depends on the flour. It depends on the flavor. But the better quality is the more stickier. That means it has more THC. That's why it's more stickier rather than the halwa kind you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Which is more flat. You know.
Yeah. So because I've seen some that they open where it's just like gooey, like honey. It almost looks like honey, and that's. Now, is that dependent on how you made it, or is that dependent on the strain, or what?
Depending on how you make it.
Okay.
And sometimes the strain too. Some strains might be more stickier and more, you know what I'm saying, stickier than basically other strains. You know what I'm saying, the THC. So it's basically the process and the strain both, basically.
That's crazy, man. What's your preferred method of extraction for hash?
Just straight hand rub.
Just hand rub?
Yeah.
Oh shit! You don't think you'll get like less with that?
Yeah, but you get a better flavor, and that's the best way to.
What's the best conditioning around that needs to be for hand rub? Like, right? Is it hot? Needs to be hot.
It doesn't have to be hot. It has to be like more like a humid climate. You know what I'm saying? Temperate climate where it's like, you know, where you can basically once the bud already has the THC, you can rub it basically anytime. You know what I'm saying? It just has to be collected into your hand in a certain way and an art that, you know, you keep on building on that.
How long would it take you to build up like a gram on it?
Again, it depends on the plant as well, how potently THC is covered up. Not a lot.
So what's your opinion on like using for edibles, right? Like, is it better to use the keef hash, like the powdery one, or is it better to use the one that's been like pressed and cooked and everything? And
it depends on what products, because some products depend their own kind of thing. Some things you want to put keef, some things you want to just throw it into a hash. But the hash is more like if you smoke it, that's when you get the more flavors and stuff, you know. So it's the same thing. Once the plant has the potency, you know what I'm saying, you're going to make it into any ways, you know.
And what causes the color differences between super dark color and like lighter color?
It's the strain too, depending on the strain and the weather, you know.
Do you keep your stuff in your hash like in like a super cold place or your room temperature?
I usually put it in a freezer, or if not, in a cold place, you know.
Okay.
Depending on which level the hash is in. Sometimes the hash is fully cured. It doesn't need to heat up and stuff. You could put it anywhere. Sometimes it's not fully cured. You want to preserve it more colder way so that it doesn't mold up. You know what I'm saying? So that the water goes. My
problem in the beginning, and I still deal with it, is mold, and because I have to look at it every time, and now I learned to put it in a dry dehumidifier, keep it like 30-40% humidity, and then I put it over there, because just my room and New York temperatures, man, is humidity's up and down.
Put it in the sun.
Oh, the sun is cool.
Yeah, you put it in the sun.
I thought the sun would burn out the terps or something.
Not really. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning stage, it won't. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to put it all the way till the end. But in the beginning, once you had just extracted, you can put it there so it gets a little sunlight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So sunlight, because you know the mold you get on hash is like fuzzy, but you can dust it off.
That's the water mold, because it's water.
Oh, it's still wet.
It's the water. Yeah, that's still in the hash.
Kachamal.
So that's why you want to make it pakka. So that's the way the sunlight is the pakka way.
So what am I doing wrong?
Or at the end, you could like heat it too. Or like you go down the French cannoli way, you can get a bottle and then you can press it. That's going to heat it too. It's going to heat and press it at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's so many ways. Or you can do it outside the oven. You just put your oven on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you just put it in a little thing, and then you just, you know, cook it a little bit outside. Not a lot, but, you know, you got to know the exact, temperature and so many things.
So if it's cold outside and the sun is out, you can kind of like not direct sun, but like in the sunlight
Yeah,
area.
you dry it. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning stage a little bit, then you leave it inside to dry, depending on how much dry you need.
Okay, cause like I still have to like I get scared because I don't know when do you know when all the moisture is fully out. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, is it curing if I keep opening the jar and looking at the hash for like mold or something? Like that's not curing, right? Like, cause I keep opening it.
No,
Right?
no. That's not really curing. That's why you want to cure it the right way. So as soon as you get it done, you want to have it in the sunlight and process it in a good way, so that what I'm saying. The next steps is already done.
So can you break down a little process what somebody should do when they do like bubble hash? Like when you do bubble hash, just break it down how to take it like when you're spooning it out of everything. What do you do from there?
Again, then what end form you want? You know what I'm saying? It
Just
depends
like
on
hash,
that.
like hash.
But again, then if you want it in a darker form, you want to make it like in a ball, like a black brown charas kind of looking. You know what I'm saying? That's you want to heat it and then press it so it becomes this form. If not, that's already an extract in its own way. You can consume it like that anyway.
But it's wet still, like right? Like so
that's why you want to dry it.
How are you drying bubble hash?
Just on the sunlight.
Oh, that's in the sunlight too.
No,
that's
we
fine.
just do it in the sunlight.
It's not too much water to mold it.
No. You know what I'm saying? But after that, you again press it, and then there's few other ways to cure it so that the end product is ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. You know so in Nepal, did they mostly do dry sift then?
In Nepal, it's mostly like hand rubbed or like.
Oh,
drummed.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pressed or like hand rubbed.
Cause like I seen videos of Afghanistan, they have mountains of dry sift sitting there, but you can like cause the humidity is a big factor on like how the hash is gonna sit there and everything too. Like, and the worst part for me for dry sift why I like bubble is because I get allergic to the keef or whatever, the pollen. Once I'm dry sifting or if I'm trimming, I start sneezing, my nose is running. I take like a shirt and I tie it around my face and I have to trim with that. You don't have that problem?
No, it depends. No, I don't have that problem, but it depends on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might have the problem, but with the pollen, usually, you know what I'm saying, because since it's a dust, yeah.
How long should you let the hash sit till it's like ready to really be consumed at least like minimum, and then like the best time to like leave it at?
Again, it all depends on what end product, what kind you want. You know what I'm saying? But it again depends how much hash you have, how longer in the day you're gonna put it. Where it's not like an exact time. That's the art. You have to just watch it and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? When it's ready.
Is there a particular strain that you think like is a good extraction or is your favorite or something?
No, not particularly. Nothing like that. You know.
Is there really a big difference when you smoke like landrace and the new genetics that are around? Like, what do you think?
Not a big difference, but it's just the flavor. You know what I'm saying? It's just the profile of the flavor. You could like see from the landrace that the new might not have, or either or, because it's a plant. There's millions of strains. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that everything has their own flavors.
Because some strains are good for washing and extraction.
Again, those are so many particular strains. You know what I'm saying? It might be good and bad for so many things. I'm not particular into that.
Okay, and then is there like a less high in the higher micron levels, or is there? I mean, is there?
Of course, it's a lesser high in the all upper microns. You know what I'm saying? The lower you go,
because I thought they were bigger. Because they're lower micron, the heads are bigger, right? But wouldn't it have more?
The smaller, that's why the little microns goes down.
Any shout outs you want to give? Anything you want to take on, say?
I want to basically give the shout out to the whole, the cannabis tribe and the ganja warriors, and, to putting the word out there and fighting for the plant and putting the awareness and, taking new steps to legalization and in the industry to grow, especially with New York, how it's just being legalized, so definitely.
So how can people find you?
Basically, they can find us on, we're mostly active on Instagram. Legalize Nepal official, or they can check us our website. They can send us messages on Messenger, WhatsApp, and so many different ways. We're in a lot of events out here in New York, so a lot of ways to get connected to us.
Shout outs to Legalize Nepal, bro. Thank you to my homie for blessing me, bro. I'm super happy my brother came today, man. I appreciate you again. Thank you so much,
Thanks
my
for
brother.
having me, man.
Bro, thank you so much, bro.